There is a dire economic crisis ahead, an absolute recessionary calamity, a total housing collapse, a complete collapse across all markets. Ugh. Do you see videos with this type of content all across YouTube? Let me put that into perspective for you shortly. But first, let's actually follow up for accountability, something that I wish more people would do. And it's on a researched and specifically documented prediction that I made. And then after this, I'll talk about what to really expect for the future of both the broader economy and the real estate market. And what you can expect is things like research and accuracy typically, and my actual track record over things like fear and hyperbole. Hi, I'm Keith Weinhold, Get Rich Education founder, active member of the Forbes Real Estate Council, and 20-year real estate investor. You know, a lot of people make predictions and then they don't follow up on those forecasts later on. What do they do instead? They plow ahead and make more predictions, usually wrong because they're often unnecessarily filled with bad news in order to scare people into winning their attention. Well, 14 months ago, I published GRE's 2022 National Median Housing Price Appreciation Forecast, my prediction for housing next year. I expect there to be 9 to 10% home price appreciation next year. Yes, that is Get Rich Education's National Median Home Price Appreciation Forecast for next year, between 9 and 10%. So in late 2021, I forecast a 9 to 10% home price appreciation rate nationally for 2022. Well, yes, we just recently got the number for last year. You know, real estate data moves slower than glaciers sometimes, but we got the 2022 number from the NAR right here. It came in at 10.2%. Okay, 10.2%, and my forecast a year and 2 months ago was between 9 and 10%. Well, let's look at this, and then I'll tell you what to expect for 2023 and 2024. All right, so how was I so close with my forecast, even though I was predicting something more than a year in advance in the time? Like, how does that happen? Well, I've been doing this stuff for a while. I evaluated the current direction of home prices and housing supply. Remember, the housing crash already happened back in April of 2020. It was a housing supply crash. And I looked at new building permits and mortgage rates and demography and affordability and more in order to come up with this forecast. And it probably took a little luck too. And you know, rather than being some housing permeable and always saying real estate is great, I mean, at times I have actually underestimated the strength of the real estate market. You might remember that back in 2019, I remarked at how real estate values were stable and were hardly appreciating. And back at that time, around 2019, I said, I really don't even see what is going to make real estate appreciation rates shoot higher. Well, and then something happened that no one could foresee, the pandemic, the great black swan event of them all. And then on top of that, you know, virtually no one realized that a pandemic would go on to correlate with hotly appreciated housing prices either. So that was a difficult connection for a lot of people to make. Okay. So now let's look forward. What do I expect for 2023 national home price appreciation and perhaps even into early 2024? I expect stable values. Home prices are not going to rise or fall significantly. Oh, well, what? That's not hyperbolic. There aren't any fireworks detonating in the background over a phrase like, here comes stable values. Where's the crash? Where's the collapse? Or where's the hot price run up? Well, I don't expect that that is going to happen. All right, well, why not? Why won't housing values rise fast? That is due to affordability constraints on that upside. And why won't housing values fall fast? Those erstwhile supply constraints, that continued low supply of available housing. And of course, yes, real estate markets are local, and I'm talking national. Places like coastal California, all right, that could have a little more correcting to do. We avoid income property investing in most high-priced markets along the coasts, which I call the volatile markets. We focus on the cash-flowing Midwest and South, which I call the stable markets. So when you consider that, that really underscores the fact that our core areas expect little price movement in the near future. All right, so that's real estate, but let's open that up to the broader economy beyond real estate now, and then I'll get back to real estate. You know, it's so ridiculous. We learned that last quarter's GDP, it showed a surprisingly solid growth at 2.9%. That beat almost everyone's expectations with both high employment and high consumer spending. And yeah, sure, bring out the stars and stripes. This is better than expected American economic news. Oh my gosh, what if the Fed even engineers their desired soft landing where they quell inflation without denting the economy? That would totally frustrate all the people saying that we would be in a recession by now. I have never said any such thing. I even debated a guest right here on this channel last year that tried to tell me that we're already in a recession. And I'll tell you, recession predictions have become as common as learning that a politician has a stash of classified documents at home. And some have even wrongly predicted some meteor striking the dinosaurs' extinct level of economic collapse by now. People keep making headlines with these dire warnings about crashes and collapses because that is exactly what attracts attention. Okay, I mean, I get that, but melancholy headlines and clickbait, they get more attention than accuracy does, and that's a problem. Us humans have a 2-million-year-old brain, and it is adapted to survival mode. So that is why these threats get all the attention. And I've got some more important news for you on this, but first go ahead and put a like on the video here if you have some appreciation for the perspective. You don't have to, but I'd be happy for the like. Now, the latest tech layoffs, I mean, they are just going back to our employment levels of 6 to 12 months ago. And really, that's more of a spectacle than anything of significance right now. That's going back to 6 to 12 months ago in those fields. And you know what really frustrates all the YouTube and other gloomer and doomers is a red-hot jobs report. The BLS said that we added 517,000 jobs last month. That's almost triple what experts expected. I mean, that is soaring. Americans haven't been this employed in more than 50 years. Oh no, that is just killing the perma bears. Now, the news of this jobs bonanza, this comes on the heels of a Department of Labor report that said over 11 million jobs were open at the end of last year. So understand, we have that many more open job positions than we even have available workers that can fill those. So that's the opposite of unemployment. That's actually an overemployed condition. And you have tech giants like Alphabet and Meta and Amazon, they have all laid people off. They've gotten a lot of headlines. So therefore, a lot of workers, they may be getting both severance packages and new job offers at the same time. And understand, I'm having a little bit of fun with this stars and stripes stuff. It doesn't mean that everything is grand in the old USA. I mean, rarely is everything grand. High inflation, that keeps debasing the quality of life for the lower and the middle class, unless you bought cash flowing real estate with a loan. So you got your escape hatch and you're benefiting by winning the inflation triple crown. More bad news, it was reported in Bloomberg that 64% of U.S. consumers are living paycheck to paycheck. That's up from an already concerning 61% last year. So everything is not grand. In fact, even overemployment has a downside. That means a labor shortage, and that labor shortage really doesn't have any signs of ending. And you've got America, the world's most powerful nation, with this galactic-sized debt. And as we take a fresh look here at the U.S. debt clock, it nears $32 trillion in American debt. And look, that's about $250,000 of debt per taxpayer now. And a hot jobs report, that also got some people biting their nails because that could mean a few more Fed rate hikes. So we pay attention to all of that here. And in fact, we might even enter a mild recession later this year. And going forward, remember that a recession correlates closely with lower interest rates, not higher ones. And there are so many misconceptions about recessions. A lot of people seem to think recessions are as bad as what happened in 2008. They are not. That was the worst downturn since the 1930s. Recessions occur every 5 years on average, so we're surely going to have another one sometime. They are merely a part of the normal business cycle. In fact, many people, probably even most people, they think that our last recession was in 2008. It was not. It was in 2020. So recessions are rather common. I mean, if you keep calling for an economic crash, you're eventually going to be correct, I guess every 5 years on average. Well, why do all these fear-mongering tactics and these mispredictions, why does that really matter though? Who cares that they keep getting it wrong and that they just keep scaring you? You know, in 2020, for example, it was pandemic fears. And in 2021, it was a housing frenzy. And 2021 actually was a worse time to buy real estate with all that competition for a low supply. And then in 2022, it was fears about interest rates. And in 2023, it seems to be these constant and ongoing rumors about a recession that gloom and doomers keep stoking and keep pumping. All right, but yeah, why does it matter? If they're wrong, then it matters because they scare people out of investing in their future year after year after year. And they make people do things like keep saving dollars in a savings account, which moves them toward poverty when savings account interest rates are half that of inflation. And they scare people from, say, spending on a vacation to actually enrich their lives, and then they're never going to get that lost time back. So this is why that stuff matters. Excessive gloom and doom, it makes people live small, scared lives. Mortgage rates have now hit their lowest level in 5 months, and this has seen an increase in housing purchase applications, but I really don't expect there to be a big surge anytime soon, even with the spring home buying season. So really, the summary here is that the economy is chugging along. The housing market, it had been highly volatile the last 3 years, and now it's just nicely stabilizing. And barring some drastic black swan event, expect more of this calming and normalization here in this year and into the near future. But see something, the headline that reads, "Most things are fine, normal, and even good." Well, a headline like that wouldn't get anyone to click on a video or read an article. And around here, it's definitely not always good news, but it is history over hunches. It is truth over fiction. It is accuracy over hyperbole. And it's actual follow-up on things like forecasts so that there is accountability. And now one piece of bad news that's credible is persistently high inflation. So look at this. I went grocery shopping to check out some consumer inflation firsthand in multiple US states. Why inflation is even worse than you think and what you can actually specifically do to prosper from it. That video is coming up here soon on the channel. So subscribe to the channel and hit that little notification bell. Now it seems like everyone asks you to do that, but I'll tell you why it's important. A lot of viewers don't know that little notification bell, that's the only way that you don't have to take any future action to be sure that you get my next wealth building video. Some forget to do that and then we're never together again. And I'd like to see you again. I'm Keith Weinhold. Thanks so much for stopping by.